we're going to look at building frequency tables. And we have a whole bunch of data here, which we're going to use to build a frequency table. But first, we want to talk about the idea of building a frequency table. Okay, so we actually have a graph here. When you're building a frequency table and counting data, you want to set up ranges. Okay, so we're going to count within a range. So the first range I've set up is between 0 and 5. So we'll click it here and I'll zoom in a bit. Okay, and what this one is including, you see this symbol here? This symbol means 0 is less than and equal to. So in other words, what it's saying is all these values are going to count everything, including the number 0, but then it's x is less than 5. So it doesn't actually include 5, and you can tell by this dotted line here. Okay, so this symbol is important because when we have frequencies tables, we don't want to double count stuff. In our next one, okay, we'll turn the red one off. You'll notice they put a solid line at 5. So what it's saying is in our second category, it is including the number 5, and it's including all numbers between 5 and 10, but not 10 itself. Again, it has a dotted line. So then together with the orange and blue, red goes from 0 to anything just under 5, blue goes from anything from 5 just under 10, and then our next category, same idea. It includes 10, so it's 10 is less than and equal to, so it's actually equal to 10, and any number between that and 15, but not including the number 15. And maybe at the end of our frequency table you might want to do it, but usually you want ranges that are the same. So we'll give you an example. We were given these as some ranges. I'll have to scroll over a little here. Okay, we were given some ranges here, and we'll talk about what issues we have. First off, 28 and 32. Okay, and it was equal to both, which we usually try to do equal to one and less than another. But our next range starts at 33, so there's an entire gap here. They're not including any numbers between 32 and 33, so if you have any decimals, it's not counted. The orange gap, you can visually see, is wider. In fact, it's got a range of 5. Well, the first one only has a range of 4. Our black one includes 38, and our orange one includes 38. So they're double counting. Anytime 38 is collected in our data, it goes in the orange and the black category, which we don't want to happen because then we get from very skewed statistics. Along with that, the black one only has a range of 4. And then finally our red one, same idea, 42 is being double counted, and the range is 6, so our range is not the same. So there's a lot of issues with this range we've built here. So let's talk about how to build one properly. So we have a whole bunch of data. The first thing we want to kind of do is, so we figure things out to be relatively equal, is we want to find the highest and lowest number. So let's quickly look through this and see if we can highlight our highest and lowest numbers. 81, 90, I'm going to look at the highest to start, 96. Anything higher than 96, you see? No. Okay, so that looks like our highest, and our lowest, 55, 44, 39, 39. Okay, so this is important. We want to know what our range is, okay? And the range is essentially from your highest number, okay, so the highest, and you're going to subtract your lowest. Pretty straightforward for us. We get 96, subtract 39. That's going to be 57, I think? Check with your calculator there.
Yeah.
Okay, 57. It's kind of an odd number. Okay. What we might want to do for this is we want to split it up. And we want to know how many categories there are going to be. So we could have, and we don't know how many numbers we actually have. We should get that information. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Twice is 24. 5, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so we have 30 pieces of data. Okay, so 30 pieces of data. We could technically have 30 categories. We could count all the way. In fact, we could have 57 categories. We can have a category for every number, but that really wouldn't help because we would just get a whole bunch of 1s, maybe a couple 2s here. We want to set up a frequency table so we're within a range. So kind of like we were talking about, maybe from 39 all the way to, I don't know, 42, something like that. And that includes 3 numbers. The problem is all of our numbers are whole numbers. Okay, so if we were to do something like that, 42 gets double counted in the next value. We can say with a less than sign, like we talked about before. So if we were to build it, one way we could build it is saying We go from 39, and these are just arbitrary numbers we're making up right now, to anything less than 42 falls in this category. The next category goes to including 42, anything less than, how many was it, 3? Less than 45. We could kind of set it up like that and then fill in our categories like that. Or we also have a choice, because everything's whole numbers, we could kind of change the bottoms. We can to skew it a little. We could say 38.5, because we know that'll include the lowest number. And we go 3 up from there, well, that would give us that 41.5. So we know 39 to 41 would all be included here. And then 42 would fall in the next category. You can set it up any way you really like. The only problem with setting it up this way is if you fall into this habit with using, numbers halfway between whole numbers, if you ever end up getting values that are like 77.5 or 77.53, you'll start double counting again. And that's why those less than signs are a lot more accurate than just doing it this way. Okay, so let's say we're going to set this up. How many categories do we want? Oh, I don't know. Let's say we want 57 is like a prime number, so it's not going to be great. So let's say we want 7 categories. I'm just picking an arbitrary one. So we're going to set up a frequency table that has 7 different categories. So we got to figure out how large the range is in each category. So we're going to have 7 categories. Okay. So in order to do that, we take our total range, okay, and we're going to divide by our 7 categories. And that's going to tell us roughly how big our range should be. In this case, now it's not going to go in evenly. 8.4. So what we can do is, because we'll work much better with whole numbers, is we can make our ranges 9 if we like. And if we get 9 in there, we say 9 by 7, just to double check. Not 57. 9 by 7. That will cover a range of 53 pieces of data, which is fine, because there's only a range of 57. So that number will work, okay? So I rounded it up 1. If we rounded down 1, if I had rounded to 8, I just want to show you why I rounded it up 1. Actually, no, we'll keep that 9 there. If I said 8 by 7, that only gives us 56, and that doesn't include the entire range. The entire range was 57, so we went up a value, okay? So that's why we're going to choose ranges of 9. Would you prefer we did the decimal ones or the less than signs?
The less than signs.
Yeah, you want to do the less than signs? Okay, so let's start at the number 39 for our range, and we can set up our little table here. So our range is going to go, and this will be the first category, from 39 all the way. We need to add 9 to it, because we said that our 9 was going to be the difference. So it's got to go all the way to what number? 48, technically. And we're going to use a less than sign, so we're going to say less than 48. Okay, and this will be very, very accurate this way. That way, in our next one, we can start with the number 48. So 48 falls in that one, and then we just add 9 again, and we're going to end up at 57. But we want to say less than 57. Okay, so let's keep going up this way. We know our highest number has to get to 96. Okay, so we said we were going to have 7 categories. Okay, so these are my categories. I'm counting them off here. And we said our range was 9, so that's what we're doing here with our range being 9. So let's keep going here. Number 3, we're going to include the number 57, and it's going to go all the way to, we add 9 again, we get 66, and we want it to be less than 66. Okay. Our 4th category, we'll add 66. It's going to go all the way to 75. Yep. And we got to say less than. Our 6th category is 75 all the way to 84. Our 7th category goes from 84 all the way to 93. Okay, we say less than. Did we set this up properly? Let's see. And our 8th category goes from 93 all the way to, what are we doing here? 102. Okay, less than 102. I just want to double check something. I found my error. I was very curious to why I got 8 there. It's because I'm not sure how to count. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and I should have went to 5. This is good. Figured out what my mistake is. Okay, so everything we said before that is still correct. So 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so we have our 7 categories. From here, it really just becomes, so we've got our table getting our frequency, right? So we'll just kind of tally off as we go along. 78 falls in our 5th category, okay? 81, and this is kind of tedious stuff, falls in that same category. 55 falls in our 2nd category. 60 falls in our 3rd. And we just kind of go through this. 65 still falls in there. 86 falls in 6. 44 falls in 1. 90 falls in 6. 77. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it here and just kind of go to the end because it's we don't. Now that we've done this, we can essentially kind of just quickly add everything up to make sure everything's there, right? So we have 2 in the first, 2 in the second. This is 8, 8, 6, 3, 1. And because we said we had a total of 30, this should all add up to 30. So that's 10. That's how I do it. 10, and these 3 together are 10. So there we go. 3, 3, 10, 10, 10. 30 sets of data. Perfect. It's in our frequency table. And now you would kind of use that to build a histogram or whatever, but that's the general idea for building a frequency table.